Here we are. It is part 4 of the NSGNSNCNONENNENBB challenge for Final Fantasy X. Now, in the last video, we had a look at my first attempt at this boss, and although successful, we didn't get the item that we needed. I think this was 9th time lucky. As I said before, I'm not going to kind of fill the video out with every single failed attempt at getting the items that I needed. We'll show you the first attempt, and if we don't get it, we will basically keep farming it until we get it, and then on that successful attempt, we will then kind of carry on with the video. But obviously, because of the boat journey bosses and all the bits and pieces in Kilika, that last video was getting quite long, so it seemed like a sensible kind of pause point, if you like. But yeah, we're back. This will be the successful attempt to get the Dark Touch weapon for Tidus. We will need that quite a bit later. And fun fact, in this same video there will be yet another farm for another weapon for Tidus. But additional fun fact, I kind of messed that up slightly, so stay tuned for watching me absolutely fail there. Yeah, I'll let you know exactly what happens when we get there, but you'll probably be able to work out what went wrong before I actually explain it to you. But that will be slightly later on in the video. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to go through here. We've got the temple in Kilika where we go through obviously the trial. We're going to get Kimahri's armament, his red armor? Yeah, armor he uses. We're going to get that. Obviously, we're then going to get on the boat, get to Luca. We've got a few bits and pieces to do in Luca, but with all the cinematics, with all the kind of introduction of bits and pieces, with the Blitzball game, the one and only time we can play Blitzball, and then all the kind of fights in the sphere after that. Luca will kind of start in this video, and then we'll finalise everything in the video after, and then the one after that will kind of be the start of Mihen. That's what we're aiming for. That's what we're gonna be kind of structuring our the kind of next bit of the series on. I think surely, yeah, I was gonna say surely he's about dead now. Yes, he is. Right. Bye-bye, Sinspawn. That was the good thing about this fight, in fairness. It was a fairly quick fight. And obviously I was able to find a fairly consistent rhythm of sort of taking out the subsidiary bits and then just sort of hacking away at the main body. Again, Lulu coming into her own here. Plenty of monsters and bosses have still got elemental weaknesses, so that really helped us out. And there we go, the Twilight Steel. Tidus has Dark Touch. We're just going to double check that that is what we want. Yes, it is. Excellent. I think it's save time. Is it? What am I doing? Yeah, let's go and save, just to be on the safe side. But yeah, I think that was attempt about number 9, something like that, which wasn't too bad, to be honest. Obviously, when the fights themselves are sort of under 5 minutes a time to go through, getting back to that point, it's not really too much of an issue, which is nice. So we can press on. We can actually make some progress and enjoy the wonder that is another cloister of trials. The one saving grace being that these first couple are nice and straightforward. Little bit of back and forth of, oh, I put the sphere here, I put the sphere there, I unlock that bit, I then move that out the way and da-da-da-da-da, and oh look, we've got the destruction sphere as well. We get the special item. Lovely, lovely, lovely. On we go. It's not until... I was going to say Jose, but I suppose Jose's not too bad. It's just more steps of that same thing. But yeah, once we get to Macalania, then it really pisses me off, to be honest, having to do those. But hey, 'tis what is needed.
I couldn't have.
But yeah.
Stuff.
No real issues in Kilika. Obviously, once we get to Luca, there's not really a great deal of issue there either. Obviously, you've got the endless fish in the Blitzball sphere, but once we have a lightning-based weapon to take them out, that'll make things a hell of a lot easier, and that's what the next farm will be for. Because obviously we'll only have Tidus and Waka for that, which will be a bit of a pain. But yeah, that's not too concerning. But it's kind of going to be the last completely nice bit, if that's the right word. Because yeah, I know I've said it before, and I will keep maintaining it. Mihen will then start trying to trip me up, and then Mushroom Rock is yeah, that's where things get really, really interesting and awkward. But we're not there yet, so we haven't got to worry about that yet. We can ignore that for the time being.
See you in the finals.
Let's just get through this trial. Let's get Ifrit, even though we're not gonna. Do we use him ever? I don't even know if you would use him against Isaru. I don't suppose you would, to be honest, because he has an Ifrit. So you'd use Shiva against him. And then a Valfor and a Bahamut. So yeah, you'd probably use your own Bahamut for Valfor, and then Shiva and Ixion probably for Bahamut. Yeah, so I'm getting an Aeon here that I cannot use, will not use. Oh yeah, let's check these rooms with no items in. I think I am just getting my temples mixed up. Because I'm pretty sure in Jose these kind of side bits have got items in. But alas, nothing for us to collect here yet, unfortunately. It is quite nice though, that these next couple of temples you kind of see other summoners on their journey. That was me just trying to speed through. It's like, nope, it's pray time. Get to praying, boy. Yeah, it just kind of adds to the idea that obviously there is this shared collective task that all these, although they're kind of not necessarily in competition with each other, but they're kind of they would quite like to be the one to vanquish sin. So it is kind of important for them to get ahead of the other summoners, if you like. And just, yeah, with Donna and Isaru, and I guess to a certain extent Belgamine, although obviously hers is more to just sort of train you up to make sure that you're ready to do it, as opposed to kind of her doing it herself. For obvious reasons, if you know, you know. But yeah, it just kind of, it adds to this, it kind of breaks it out of just Yuna's family, because obviously her dad has already done it, she's the one doing it now. Obviously there are references to Yunalesca like 1,000 years ago, right at the beginning, but even that's then tied back into Yuna, because that's why Yuna is named Yuna. So yeah, it's nice to kind of branch that out a bit and kind of make it more obvious that there are many summoners out there all doing this pilgrimage, all going to these same temples, all trying to gain more and more and more Aeons so that they are ready then for the final summoning. Which is, although you only really ever meet 2, it's still quite nice that they did add that in. Nice little bit of world building. And to be honest, 10 is kind of full of bits like that. Obviously, you get the references to 10 years ago, but just that people are trying to just do what they can to live and survive in this world where there is effectively a weapon of mass destruction roaming around that 99% of people can do absolutely nothing about. Even the Crusaders can only really kind of say, hopefully, aim to deflect sin away from populations, and kind of save townspeople. And they're kind of the next best thing, really. Outside of the summoners, there's not really anything else, and everyone is just trying to kind of survive, but also live as well, if that makes sense. I guess if they were only surviving, they wouldn't even bother with things like Blitzball, but they're trying to actually live and have a community and a lot, and it's quite nice to see that it's sort of lost on a lot of more modern games, just how alive the world feels, and even sort of a little bit later in this run. No, don't take it with, no, yeah, put it there, I guess. Ta-da. No, yeah. You need to, yeah, move the thing out the way. That's it. Yeah, it's sort of lost on more modern. It can be a lot of the times. The world just doesn't feel very kind of lived in. It's just sort of there for the player, as opposed to being an actual, real, organic, living, breathing thing. Come on, touch the glyph. Hurry up. There we go. It's so fiddly because there's a lot of obvious steps with these, but you kind of forget. Yeah, that's it. Put the thing back in the stand before you actually transfer it. No, no, no. Stand on the... Yeah, there we go. You kind of forget a few odd nuances here and there with these. Okay, yeah, just trying to work out exactly what I'm doing here. So much back and forth. It's crazy watching these back, because if I were to go and do these sort of now straight away after, no, don't pick it back up again. It sort of seems so obvious what you need to do now. But yeah, because it had been a while since I'd last played this game, it was a case of, now, what exactly do I need to do where? How exactly do I need to do this in exactly what order? No, you're going to need to push it over a bit more than that. That's not quite far enough, is it? Look, you can see that's not far enough. Jeez, sorry guys, it's painful for me as well. Bit more. There we go. Well done. Jeez. That's not what you were expecting, is it? Ta-da! No, don't take... No, not yet. No. Oh, God. Yeah, and then you're going to put it in the stand and nothing's going to happen. The clue was the yellow line. The yellow line was fire. And what does that denote? Yes, Kilica spheres. Jeez. No, will you... Why? No, because you need... Think about it. Think about it. Blimey. No wonder they sometimes get lost in these temples for days, though. They've got them in people like me controlling them, going backwards and forwards. Put the sphere on. Take the sphere out. And now move it here. Now touch the glyph. There we go. Down goes the stand, revealing the thing. You can then take that out, put it in the other door. There we go. Well done. Well done, dingus. What is quite good about that is obviously if you don't expose that, you can't get the destruction sphere thing. So it's slightly more awkward than the one in Besaid, because obviously the one in Besaid, you kind of need to open that wall up in order to get to the bit where you put the destruction spear in. Whereas this one, yes, you need to again open the wall up to get the sphere, but then you have to open up another bit very specifically in order to actually get the area where you put the sphere in. But hey. Second thing got. I'm still not sure as well whether I am going to go and get all the bits and pieces in Barge or not, where Anima is. I suppose it would make sense to at least have a look, because I can't remember what items are there, and there might be some either some really decent items that Riku can access, or at the very least a kind of a nice piece of armor or a weapon or something. So it's probably worth at least having a look over there and seeing what's what. But yeah, this pretty much, although obviously we've got to walk back to the we've got to walk back to the boat. This is pretty much Kilika done now. We have absolutely no reason to come back here. But I promise you, we will be coming back here. Not once, but twice. For two very, very specific and different reasons. And if you've got any idea what they are, let me know. I mean, obviously I already know. Let everyone else know. Stick it in the comments section. Tell everyone else why I've got to come all the way back to Kilika, and then later on come all the way back to Kilika again. Even though there is literally nothing else here for me. Apart from, I guess, that Albed primer that I missed in the shop. Because I'm pretty sure I don't get it in this video either. Memory serves. I'm pretty sure I just make a beeline for the boat. Which, I mean, of course you would. Let's get this story going forward. Let's get stuff moving. And again, this, like in Besaid, everyone's sort of crowding around and congratulating and just getting 5 minutes with the summoner, just that little bit of hope for everyone. Just as something to kind of latch onto. It just makes what you're doing on the pilgrimage seem so much more than just Yuna. Basically, I want to do this because my dad did, and I want to be the next one to do it just because I want to kind of be known for doing it. There's kind of a human purpose to why all this is happening. Sort of a real consequence situation.
Okay?
Which makes it mean more.
What do
and because of that,
want to do?
you're more bothered as a player. The story sort of means more. Excellent, nice little bit of teleportation there. Thanks, game. So yeah, let's make a beeline for the boat. Really, there's not really anything else to bother to get here now. We've got all the kind of things that we need. Yeah, there we go. Perfect example there of Tina's just not quite being strong enough to defeat
Booyah.
stuff that he's meant to be being able to one-shot. And again, Walker's only able to because of the elemental nature of the ball that he's got. That's the only reason that he's able to kind of do what he can do. Just the one fight? Oh, no, cursed it. Yeah, just the one fight. No, maybe two. Yeah, and poison. Brilliant. Okay, well, at least Waffle wasn't petrified. Hey, he actually managed to do it in one hit that time. Makes things so much easier. So much easier. But again, yeah, already perfect example of not necessarily always being able to one-shot certain opponents. And yeah, you should still be able to be one-shotting those. Which we can't. Why am I just get to the boat? I'm making myself look stupid here. I said make a beeline for the boat. No. Are you still... What? Yeah, there's nothing there. There's still nothing there. Maybe I'm thinking that's where the primer is? I mean, it's pretty obvious where it is. It's on the desk. And bet I still don't pick it up. Right there. There it is. Right in front of you. You're literally right next to it. And then you talk to... No. Is it hidden around the... Wow. Wow. That's quite something. I managed to interact with everything in the room except the thing that was the only thing I hadn't interacted with ever before. That's quite something. That is quite special. I was going to say, is it not worth getting all these bits of equipment? Might as well. Got the money for it now, haven't I? I know it's only 5%, but hey, 5% could be the difference between being KO'd and not being KO'd, especially at this point of the game. There's a little bit of a point to it, at least. Yes, do not sell that null blade shield. That will be invaluable later. Invaluable. Like, without that item, getting through Mushroom Rock would be... I don't want to say impossible, but it would be bloody awkward, put it that way. It would be so much harder, and there would be so many kind of more game overs than what you're gonna get anyway. But thankfully with that, there will be certain fights where we'll get to a point where we can't actually die. We can't game over, which will be brilliant. So there, yep, Killica is gone. We are on our way to Luca, and it's very nearly time. There's obviously a little bit more chit-chat here, but it's very nearly time to see my my major blunder, as it were. And as I said, it will be very, very obvious when we get to that point in the video what the blunder was. And I shall explain exactly how the blunder came about when we get there. It's quite something. And I... Don't talk to them, Yuna. Especially the Luca Flamingoas players. They mocked us, remember? Come on. It's time to learn a Blitzball move that we will be able to use, I think, probably all of twice. Maybe. Twice? Once? I suppose we could probably use it once each half. Maybe.
They ask a
Yeah.
fortune. Me business.
Given the
please.
HP cost.
The mine spot.
Not giving you more money, Owaka, you thieving booger. No, it's the last boat where it's in this room. No, it's in there this time. We'll actually be able to see it and pick it up. There we go. See, you saw that one that was blended in with the carpet, sort of. I know the colour was different, but there's sort of a bluey pattern to it. Could see that perfectly fine and pick that up. Can't see the thing on the desk at the foreground of a shop.
Relax.
Absolutely brilliant.
You could
And
always
yes,
go
I
to-
was playing with my
Anyhow,
glasses on.
What?
Maybe I shouldn't have done.
You know once.
Although I don't really know how that would have helped, but you know,
Who's?
No,
if the glasses themselves aren't actually helping.
it is my.
Right, let's learn this old jet shot for no real reason. I mean, it feels weird not learning it, let's be honest. Really does feel weird not learning it. But, yeah. And we will at least have one Blitzball match that we can play, because we have to. So we will actually get to use it. We just won't be able to kind of, well, cheese through parts of the game by using it a lot. Which is kind of annoying. Ooh, was the faith always there? Spooky, spooky. Were they always there and we just didn't see?
I usually charge for lessons, you know.
The
That shot is done like
faith were
this.
the things hiding in the corner all along. Still not sure how he got the ball necessarily to do that. Like,
You
what
can't
do
do
you
it,
do
kid.
to the ball to make it
But
just
don't
kind of
worry,
float
my
up and
boy.
sit there and spin and
You're
get to a
not the
point,
only one.
stop, but keep spinning
one else
in
can
midair?
do it.
Like, that's
I'm the best.
quite some skill, that. If anyone could actually do that in sport, I would pay good money to see that. So I can understand why people kept coming to see Jekt day after day after day. Or at least match after match after match. Because that's quite special. Like, maybe if he was in the sphere, you could kind of understand it slightly. Because of some buoyancy and resistance within the water. But to be able to actually do it in midair, quite something. There we go. Done. Ready, wallop. Gone. That was a good waste of a Blitzball. But at least we'll get to use it. If only once or twice.
Yeah, right.
Can't actually remember how many. I'm guessing I managed to use it twice.
Whoa.
Once
What's
in
that
each
called?
half. Obviously the
Doesn't have
second
name.
half you've only got
Anyone
Tidus
can
for
do
a
it if
short
they
amount of
try.
time, so
us
I'm
one more
hoping I
time
had
now.
enough time to actually get the ball up to him. I can't even remember. As I say, it was quite some time ago when I actually recorded some of the gameplay for this. But hey ho. Right, let's talk to Yuna and get off this boat.
That was the
Then we
jet
can
shot,
do all the
wasn't it?
cutscene stuff at the start of Luca. We can meet Seymour. We
How do you
can
know
meet
that?
Micah. We
Sir
can,
Jack showed it to me when I was a child.
yeah, go through all that.
He called it the
And then farm ourselves another item, which will be fun. Yeah.
Stupid name, huh?
Yeah.
You know what? There is no
Mark 1 or
Mark
Mark
1
2,
or
we
Mark
know.
2, you know?
We know. It's all a
My old
publicity
man
stunt.
said the name Mark 3
It
was
worked
just something
even
to hook
then.
the crowd. He
Publicity
said they
will
come back
always
every
work
night
if
expecting
done
to see
correctly.
Mark 1 and Mark 2. Man, they really did come back. I used to get so mad.
Yeah, I'm starting to think maybe I should have had a cutscene skipper, but, you know, I don't have one on the console, so what do you want me to do?
Is he alive, you think?
Cut every
I don't
single
know.
little blooming bit out.
But
I mean,
Subject was my father's
the
guardian.
So he's famous
problem with the
here,
cutscene
too?
skippers as well,
Yes.
so
if
I've been
anything
led to
happened him,
believe, and
I
so
should
I've
think
seen
word
in
would get
certain
around
bits and
fast.
pieces that people have played through, is it where it kind of triggers and where it then gets you to.
What
You can
would
often
you
miss
do
certain
if you found him?
items and certain
Who
bits of
knows?
conversation with
I
certain
thought he died
people
10
because
years
they
ago.
don't populate properly.
Well,
Because it kind of jumps
probably
you
just
further
smacking
ahead than you think it's going
after
to.
everything you put Mom
And
and
it
me
jumps
through.
them ahead further of
Because
where
he was
they are, so
famous, I
certain
was always-
NPCs don't spawn
Well,
properly.
you should know. Your father's famous
Which,
too.
again, in
Everyone
something
in
like
Spirit
this,
knows him,
something
right?
as mundane as
Ain't it
picking
tough?
up a really kind of like weapon
hard
could
to
actually,
follow in
for the
his
next
footsteps
section, be
as a
really, really
summoner.
important.
Sure.
And
But
like, oh,
the honor of having a
I
father
was
like
meant to
him
get like
surpasses all
a
that,
ward
I
or a
think.
proof bit of armor from that
Well,
person, but
there wasn't
oh
much
well,
to
I'll
honor
just
about
buy it
my
when I
old
next
man,
get to a shop,
that's for sure.
and they might not necessarily
shouldn't
have
say
it,
that
or it
about your
costs a lot
father.
of money,
I got the right.
and you're not necessarily able to get it.
I guess
Certain
you
things
do.
like that can actually really kind of screw up
me that move
runs
again.
like this.
Yo!
So we cannot miss any last little
I didn't think
bit.
He never
Yes.
did.
Will we
But I
see
couldn't help
Jecht in
feeling
Luca?
something-
I don't think we will.
Sure, I had told
But
Waka I'd help him.
we will at least see Seymour and Micah and Oren and all those lovely peeps just as soon as we get ashore. Come on. Save takes ages on this thing. Yeah. So there's the balls up. Whilst farming for this, because this again is the final success, as it were, for this. But the first go through, whilst getting to this point and then farming for the item, I foolishly, after the first failure, instead of stopping the recording properly, I foolishly closed the game on my PlayStation 5, and I didn't realise it at the time, but that doesn't save the game capture. It doesn't actually save the recording. And obviously, I saved at that save point before this boss fight. So, unbeknownst to me, I played through to this fight, didn't get the item that I needed, closed the game, reopened it, started new recordings again and again and again, and did basically what I did for the Sin Spawn fight. Kept going through it again and again and again until we got a success for the item that we wanted. And then it wasn't until after this point that I realised that I didn't have any of the boat coming into Luca, which I thought, oh, that's fine, that's not really a problem. And then all the kind of tutorial bits for the Blitzball. I thought, well, that's not necessarily a problem. And the kind of wandering around finding Owaka, and getting his getting some items from him. It's like, oh, that's not really a problem that we don't have that either. That's fine. Maybe we just don't have that part of the video. Again, predominantly it's mainly cutscenes and conversations. That's fine. We don't sort of see Kimari standing up to Biren and Yenki in the cafe when Yuna and Tidus go Orin hunting. We don't see that. It's like, well, no, never mind. That's fine. We can live with that. And after all, we got the item we needed. So yeah, it was a bit of a pain, but I thought, no, that's fine. We'll crack on. And some of you may have already seen the slight flaw in that plan. And again, if you know, you know.
I hope
And if you
heard
don't
them.
know, I will explain in a minute. But yeah, there we go. We got the item we needed. The lightning strike weapon, especially in the next bit, in the kind of sphere,
There were these
will
Al Bhed
be
that saved my
vital
life when I
for
first
killing
came
the
to Spira.
fishies.
They took me on their ship. They even gave me food.
It will mean
I was
that
kinda
we
hoping
just
that
need
this
a
was the
hell of a
same
lot
ship.
less hits. Obviously,
But
I
it's
think
not.
there's like 11 or 12 of them.
I wonder if
I
they're all
say
gone.
they're not fish anyway, are
What
they?
happened?
They're Sahugans.
Sin came up near
However you
us.
say that.
I
And
made
obviously
it out
we've only
okay,
got
but I don't know what
Tidus and
happened to their
Waka,
ship.
so doing extra damage to them
Was
with them
there
being weak
anyone
to
called
lightning,
Sid
vital.
that ship?
But more importantly, the
I don't know. They were all speaking that
extractor,
Al
I
Bhed
think it's
language.
called. Basically the
I
big
see.
machina on the
So
moon
who's
flow
Sid?
that kidnaps Yuna.
He's my
That
uncle,
again you
but I
have to
never
fight
actually met
with
him.
only
Mm-hmm.
Tidus and Waka without having lightning strike against that
So that means
enemy.
you're Al Bhed too,
It
Yuna?
makes things
On my mother's
a
side.
hell of a lot
Yes.
harder because of its
Sid is my mother's brother.
depth charges, is
He
it?
became
That it's got
distant
basically the
after
the
my mother
mines that
married.
it drops on you without having lightning
But she
strike.
told me to
That
seek him out if I ever
fight
needed help.
can be very tough,
worried he
and obviously
was-
that's quite a way ahead of where we
Don't
are.
tell Waka
So it
about
just
Yuna's
helps
lineage.
us out
The thing
to
about Waka, he
have
never
that
had much
now
love for the
because
Whoa.
yeah, as I've said before,
I
there
gotta
are
tell
so
Waka.
many
I thought I told you
many
not to tell Waka.
monsters and
The game.
bosses that have
Oh.
these certain weaknesses. That yeah, in a normal run you'd never like. Yeah, great, I've got a lightning strike weapon. Who cares? But because you'd have so much more health, you'd have so much more strength. It's those sorts of things that will decide whether we manage to kind of progress to the next bit of the game or not.
30 seconds
Oh,
left. The
one
Aurochs
last
are
attack.
launching an all-out
I
offensive.
wonder if they score. Who's got the ball? What did he kick off from there as well?
A
The ball
long
just
pass
comes from
Letty.
a long pass from Letty, who's not there in the shot. The ball just appears from nowhere. I'm pretty sure as well that Letty swam off ahead. I need to double check that, so I might be talking complete garbage, but... Hello! 3-2. Winner, winner.
3-2.
Aurochs are in the final. Nicely done.
We did it! Not the...
They're in the final, they didn't even need their star player.
If it was Chap...
Which makes me think, what was the point of even him agreeing to help them and get them into the final
I
and
know,
win the cup and
You're the one who told
any of that anyway?
And I don't think
Because,
Waka would ever...
hey,
You don't...
they got into the final without you, mate. You were too busy running around attacking Al Bhed all the time. And that's kind of the issue. The Al Bhed. Now, there were, in that section, because I thought, oh, I'll just leave out that whole section, it's fine, we're into the next boss. We haven't broken any of the rules, we're fine. However, we had 3 forced fights. I think it's 3, 2 or 3. And yeah, this was my first thought. Obviously, we don't have Summon because we can't use Yuna, so that's fine. We don't have Customise because we haven't got Riku, that's fine. We don't have any like no encounter issue because they were forced fights anyway. There's no like wild fights happening. And we can't use Blitzball either because we haven't started that yet. However, technically, and the no encounter thing's not really an issue either because we haven't got any no encounter items yet. However, obviously, I could have theoretically used an overdrive, although I'm kind of clearly showing you here that I didn't, because all my overdrive meters are still full, and there's no way you would be able to fill them up again in those fights. But also, I could have technically used the sphere grid, hence why as well at the start there I was showing you that the sphere grids are completely blank. And I thought, yeah, that should be alright, because then I've shown I've not done anything with the sphere grid. I couldn't use summon or customize anyway. I clearly haven't used any overdrives because they're full still. The no escape thing wasn't an issue because they're all force fights that you can't escape from anyway. We haven't got any no encounter equipment yet because we're too early in the game, and we couldn't do Blitzball yet either because we haven't unlocked it. So yeah, of course I haven't kind of broken any of the rules or anything, because there's no rules that I can break yet. So yeah, we should be fine to just continue. What do you guys think on that? Let me know what your thoughts are one way or the other. Because thinking about it, technically speaking, I suppose I could have used an overdrive and then sat in the fight for God knows how long, getting hit again and again and again and again in order to fill the overdrive bar up to full, to kind of show that it was the same.
The game starts
I don't even know if I'd have had enough potions on me in order to survive long enough to actually do that, to be honest. Because obviously you haven't got Yuna there to heal for you, so the only healing you would have would be potions. And those mechs didn't really hit you for much, so it would take a hell of a long time to raise your overdrive bar all the way back up to the top. But I suppose it's technically possible that that's a thing that you could do in that instance. So yeah, as I was sort of continuing, I was sort of in two minds exactly what to do, because obviously the point of this is to kind of, for the challenge, is to show that I haven't at any point, hey, if there's times where I get wiped out by enemies because I get like beaten by them, because obviously in a normal situation you just go, screw this, let's escape and run away. Obviously I can't do that. Or you just go, right, yeah, this fight's gone south, let's get an Aeon out, summon an Aeon and kind of solve problems. Or, oh yeah, this is getting a bit of a problem I could do with certain attributes, I know, let's customize an item. Obviously the point of this is to have this almost as evidence, if you like, to show that all the rules have been followed, really and adhered to.
Gave it your
and
all, didn't you?
It was really niggling at me, because we have this tiny section where, technically speaking, there is an opportunity that one of those rules could have been broken. As I say, I showed you the empty sphere grids. No one had moved a spot at all. No one had gained any attributes or abilities from that. That was clear. Summon, again, we had no Yuna, so I couldn't physically summon anyway. Customise, we don't have Riku yet. We don't have the customised menu, not a problem. The escaping, they were force fights you can't escape from. You have to fight them. There aren't any other kind of random encounters that you could get that you then could escape from, so that's not an issue. The no encounter equipment, we don't have any of that yet. We're too early in the game. And Blitzball, we haven't even started yet. We can't physically do that. There just is no ability to kind of do Blitzball. Like, we're coming up to our first Blitzball match that we physically can be involved in. But it was that overdrive element that was really sort of bothering me as I kind of continued with this bit. And as I say, let me know what your thoughts are one way or the other on that. But I did find a solution that I was happy with, that meant that I was able to kind of have that evidence, if you like, for what was kind of required. And so I opened up an old save in Killiker, and I basically went back through all of this again. We went back to the beginning of Luca. We went right to the end of the boat. We started the whole section in the town again, just so that we could go through A, these cutscenes, and B, the fights against those Machina. And then obviously farm for the item again, which I won't show you again, but this is just a way of kind of being transparent and showing, look, we got through those fights properly, we didn't use those overdrives, but yeah, as I say, let me know what your thoughts are one way or the other. Because yeah, as I say, initially I was fine with it, but it really started to niggle at me, and I thought, well, if there's any doubt at all, if I've got any doubt, if I'm questioning maybe, then surely other people could easily question that. They could easily kind of call me out on that. They could yeah, kind of point the finger on that and say, look, well, you haven't done the challenge properly, you haven't done everything. What about that section there? So yeah, needless to say though, it was a very nice, important learning opportunity for me, because it meant that I sure as hell did not make that same mistake again when it came to farming certain bits and pieces of equipment. At no point in the future did I just close the application expecting that to kind of stop the recording and save it, because it does stop the recording but it doesn't save it, as I said before, hence why that bit was completely lost. Yeah, that's all I will say with this. Make sure you've got multiple saves because yeah, they're invaluable, shall we say. And from this point on, I had multiple saves, because again, you get to certain points where you're like, yeah, well, I should be alright to progress, but then if you get kind of stuck at a certain boss or whatnot, and you're like, oh, okay, better roll it back maybe an hour or so, do a bit more item farming, a bit more equipment collection, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm pleased it was this early in the run that I kind of got caught out with that, because it meant learning a very important lesson pretty damn quick. But hey, lesson learned. Won't be making that mistake again. So yeah, we hey, at least we get to see Micah and Seymour, I guess, and at least we get to see Tidus embarrassing himself in front of everyone. Like, yeah, guys, we're the worst team ever, and yeah, you better fear us, because we know you're the favourites and the champions, but we are rubbish. Woo! Like,
We sure stood out though. We were on the sphere.
hey, but we already know they make the final, right?
Already?
So he was partly right. What's brilliant though is he gives it all of that, and he's not even in the game to get them into the final.
Micah?
He plays absolutely no bearing in getting the team to the final in order to then face Luca goers later on in the tournament. Also as well, if they're that terrible, right, how on earth were they seeded? How on earth did they not have to play in the preliminary round? That makes no sense to me at all. Like, I guess the only reason that happened was so that, you know, you could just have the two matches. You could just have the one there, which obviously they're not involved in because they're saving Yuna, and then the actual final that you can participate in and either win or lose and then kind of progress the game. Rather than then having to squeeze in a third one. I mean, I guess you could kind of... I feel like I would have potentially had them in a preliminary game against Kilika, though. And then maybe use the excuse of just being able to just about edge past Kilika, like 1-0 or something. And then having the commentators use the excuse of obviously the players still being distracted because of the recent attack by Sin.
Could it be?
Obviously they're not got the game faces on, so Besaid kind of just about managed to squeak past them. And then obviously all the stuff with Albed and whatnot, because technically speaking, Tidus and Yuna were gone for quite a while, weren't they? Wandering off and going to the cafe and getting into the altercation there with the other Ronsos. And then obviously Yuna going missing and Lulu turning up, and then obviously having to kind of hunt her down and find her, as well as fighting your way through the mechs and then fighting the boss in order to free. Like, that's a lot of time, considering these matches are only like 5 minutes a half. At least in real time. Well, not in real time, are they? They're because the seconds tick by quick. So that would have made a lot more sense if that covered two actual two matches. Like maybe at the cafe, that's when Besaid win their first game, and then that's why Yuna gets kidnapped there straight away. They just grab her immediately because they know that they're going to have to face Besaid, and they've seen as well how a distracted team are easier to get past. So let's distract the Aurochs by kidnapping the summoner that they're travelling with, who their captain is the guardian of. Like, that kind of would have made a lot more sense, wouldn't it? Or am I just, I don't know. I feel like that would have made a lot more sense and kind of covered those bits. Also, Waka could have got bashed about a bit, maybe a bit more in the Kilika game. Yeah, I don't understand how on earth they got seeded. If they've never ever won a game, obviously it's a random draft pool. But clearly, because they've never been in the final. Well, mind you, I suppose they could always get through that first round by being seeded in other things and then losing the semi-finals. But
that's right.
We got seeded 2 games and we're like, really?
First things first.
As I say, it must be completely random, because obviously when you play Blitzball in it is completely random. Sometimes you are given a buy into the next round and sometimes you're not. But hey, maybe I'm just talking utter garbage.
There you. Someone said they.
Also, they could have just had 8 teams, couldn't they? And then everyone has to play 3 games anyway. I'm guessing it is because they physically just wanted to have those 2 games in that part of the actual like story. The one with the Albed and then the one with Luca.
The game starts like real soon.
The first one you can't be in because of the kidnapping, and the second one you can because you need to be. And then they kind of then walked the whole tournament around only having them like, right, okay, how can we make it justifiable that there's only 2, but we don't want 4 teams, because 4 teams for a tournament's a bit naff. So how do we expand that, but also make it so that they get a bypass the first one? It's like, well, if we have 6, we can
Is
give
there
2
orders?
teams a bye. It's like,
So-
such a weird way of constructing.
Let's go
Like, as
It
a
didn't
as
even
a
occur to me
sports
to-
fan,
And
like
the
an
one
avid
that
sport,
I
like especially an
I
avid
don't know
football
why,
fan,
but I
it's such a weird way of constructing a tournament. Like, why would you construct a sports tournament like that? You just wouldn't. It makes absolutely no sense. I'm pretty sure it confused me as a kid as well, but then I obviously put it to bed and didn't really think anything more of it. But, you know, meh.
Oh, and as for the first game?
So, yeah. Oh, let's hurry up and get to these fights. That's the only reason we came back to this point. Jeez. Maybe I should... But then, if I was going to come back and then not include all of this, I might as well have then not... Because then not had it at the beginning... to then not have it. It's like, if I didn't have it at the beginning, what's the point of then coming back to do? I know it's technically to do the fights, but it's like, it's a little bit odd, isn't it? But hey ho, it is what it is. But what's important is it's done now anyway. It's done. It's sorted. It's not a problem. It's fine. It's all good. All good. Right. Let's fight these fights that either people were really bothered about in the comments, or they really couldn't give a monkeys and have already stopped watching the video. It's one or two camps in it. Let's be honest. It's one of 2 camps. So yes, as I say, I did have to go back slightly to a point where I was in the Killiker Forest, so it doesn't entirely match up with what we had before, but it was the only way that I could
Please let me through.
do it, because I'd saved beyond the point. It was the only way
Let's go.
I could do it to get back far enough to then actually get the gameplay recorded, which was a bit of a faff. What's good? Oh, excuse me. What's going to be brilliant now as well is if most of you sort of say, yeah, we don't care. Yeah, we could see that you didn't really do anything. And honestly, why would you have gone through the rigmarole of using your overdrives to then reboost them up, knowing that you then weren't going to use them going forward? You're completely insane. What on earth have you done to yourself?
We do this, but you're on Blitzball.
But hey. Challenge is a challenge, and transparency for showing that I did those fights properly.
You try it too.
Promise, I did those fights
In
properly.
your mouth like this.
Like
Mainly with Lulu.
This?
Because
Not
lightning
like
damage,
that.
and because you
This.
can't steal from them yet. So it was like, that's the only method you've got is just lightning damage, and that's all. So yeah, you do that. Do that, you go forward, you push through.
Hey, use that if we get separated.
Oh, come on. Get to the cafe already.
Guess we should just stick together then.
yes, sir.
That was the one good thing, I guess, about the earlier Final Fantasy games. You could just, like, nerf your way through all the conversation. Come on. Hurry up and get kidnapped,
This
Yuna.
is a pretty big town.
Luca is
The weirdest sentence anyone will ever say.
I thought every town was.
But yeah, once we've
towns don't
once we've
usually
cleared
get
this,
bigger than that.
obviously in the next video, we will complete all the bits in
Because
Luca.
when a lot-
We will play through the Blitzball tournament. We will fight our way out of the Blitzball
about Luke?
sphere.
It's not any. The
Through all the
Crusaders fight.
Sahagin? Did I say?
Blitzball
I can't remember
is
if that's how I said it before.
Spears
So I'm saying it this time. I've still no idea if that's exactly how it's pronounced. Yeah, fight our way through all the Sahagin, and then obviously reintroduce ourselves to Oren, fight the Garuda, and then do the
Well, there are
horrible
more
laughing
buildings.
thing,
All
and then
tall
that will
ones.
set us up
Cramped
perfectly
together.
for Mihen. Because you forget,
They must
even though like there's no temple obviously here in Luca, and you're literally just turning up for the tournament, you forget how much time this whole section takes up, because there's so much like introducing you obviously to Micah and Seymour, and bringing Oren back into the fray, and obviously showing you the kind of structure and stuff of Blitzball, and the tutorial match, if you like, of Blitzball, because you
Let's ask around.
the idea is you then play that going forward, because it's a very useful way of acquiring all the bits and pieces that you want and you need. So yeah, it makes sense to kind of have that relatively early in the game. It's a shame we can't use it, mainly for Wakka's celestial weapon. Like we just can't get it at all. Can't get that, and obviously we can't get the sigil either. So, right, old pain. Go on, Kamari, yeah, lay him out. Boom. Fight.
Today, on this glorious day, players
But hey ho.
to participate in
Just one little extra problem layered on to this challenge.
these fine teams
What's quite nice though is once you kind of clear, Luca is kind of that last, and I know again I've said this so many times now, probably sick of me saying it, but it's that one last section of kind of tutorial part of the game. Obviously there will be tutorials afterwards. There'll be the one about obviously Oren's piercing ability. There'll be the one to do with Riku's mixing overdrive. Technically speaking, if you were playing this kind of normally and you were fighting Belgamina, you'd have tutorials about increasing your Aeon's attributes and abilities, which obviously we won't be doing. I mean, technically, I guess I could. Sort of a waste of items, though, to be honest. there's not actually... Although, does that count as Customise? I suppose it would count as Customise. Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? And you do have to do Aeon fights a little bit later, so yeah, technically that would be customising and cheating. But yeah, so you've got those tutorials coming, but they're just kind of brief. This is a new mechanic, tutorials, but in terms of like the tutorial part of the game, this is sort of the end of that, thankfully, and then we'll kind of get right into the meat of things, make the challenge feel a lot more real, a lot more kind of well, challenging, if you like, for want of a better term.
Yuna's been kidnapped by the Al Bed Sykes. In exchange for her safe return, they want...
What?
If they're only Blitzball players,
Right,
I doubt
Yuna's
they'll do
gone.
anything drastic. But we shouldn't take chances.
They want
Let's
us to
go
throw
get
the
her.
game. I mean,
I'm going to.
we're rubbish anyway, so we'll probably lose.
This'll be no
But
problem.
let's go
They're telling
and
the Aurochs to throw
retrieve
the
a
game,
summoner.
as if they needed to. I mean, how...
Weird thing is as well,
Waka said the
I
same thing.
wonder
He'll
if,
take care of the game.
for
We
argument's
should go
sake,
get
say
Yuna.
the Aurochs were to lose
Let's-
the match for Yuna's safe return, would they have still kept her to then take her back to home to keep her in the Summoner's Sanctum to prevent her from carrying on with her pilgrimage? Which is obviously what they do with other summoners at other points anyway. So like, I wonder if they would have actually returned her. Again, if you know, you know. Interesting thought experiment, though, isn't it? Would they have done?
Whoa, what are they?
Ancient Machina, south, they are most...
So yeah, here we go. Force fights. So pointless because there's like I'm pretty sure it's 3 fights. I think it's this one, another one, and then the last one you get rid of a couple and then more come. So it's like almost like a double fight. But yeah, All this just to prove that I didn't use my overdrives. Oh, so ridiculous, isn't it? So ridiculous. There you go. What can you do? One fight done. Not to mention the double farming for stuff. It's always fun. Yeah, it's definitely a third fight because the camera angle changes, doesn't it? So. Ah, well, the things I do, the things I put myself through in terms of the gaming world. I mean, actually, that's a lie, because challenge video-wise, I don't really tend to... Not to this extent, anyway. I'm currently, as well, a little bit later on in the game, I'm currently at a bit where I'm having to, again, acquire something, and oh my god, is it a pain. I have spent so long just trying to get this one thing and just get the correct RNG that I need in order to get this one thing at this one specific point of the game, and it is doing my absolute Sweden. It really is. It's like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, how much of a pain as well in normal run-throughs do you probably encounter this thing all the time? And you're like, yeah, that's nice and easy, lovely, not even really that bothered. But because in this specific run-through I have to get this and I can't, it makes it so, like, 10 times more frustrating, because you know in a normal playthrough, like, this wouldn't be an issue. You wouldn't even consider it. You wouldn't even care that you got it. It's like, yeah, great. Don't even really need. Not fussed. Not bothered at all. Nah, move on. But yeah, in this particular instance, it's a bloody necessity. It's like, yeah, of course it blimmin' is. But we will persevere. We will acquire what we need. To be honest, though, as well, it's given me quite a good different focus, because it's meant that rather than keep going down the route with that, we can actually get on with the voiceover bits for the challenge and get bits out. I think I finally decided on a schedule as well. Obviously, you'll already kind of know this because these videos will all be live. But yeah, I've decided on a start date. I'm still planning on doing the one video a day, and then on the 8th day, that will be the week after. So we'll do 8 in a row, and then we'll go weekly from basically from video 8, as it were. But yeah, I've decided on a start point. I've had a bit of a look at good points to release those videos, so we've kind of worked that out, so that's always good.
He won't last.
Here we go. We've basically looped ourselves back round to the beginning of this section. Time to farm that same item again so that we can then carry on afterwards. And obviously in the next video we will pick up from where we were playing Blitzball. But until then, goodbye.